Welcome to my kitchen. We have chili on the menu this evening, and I guarantee you this is not your grandmother's chili. You wouldn't want my grandmother's chili. Actually, she put cream of tomato soup in it. So no, you don't want that. But this chili is good. I'm making a double recipe so that it'll be enough for my husband and I tonight, and then I'll put half of it in the freezer and we'll eat it at a later date. For this recipe, we have half of a large onion and an entire smallish bell pepper. You can use any color you like. This one's red, but you can use green or orange or yellow too. A large clove of garlic, 6 mushrooms, just your garden variety white mushrooms will be fine. A can of kidney beans and a can of black beans. You can open a can. I cooked these myself yesterday, and 28-ounce can of diced tomatoes. These have no salt added. I don't cook with any salt, but I like to say if you're going to add salt, put your own salt in and don't let some company decide how much salt you're eating. I like a little bit of texture in my chili, and so you need about 1/3 cup of something that's going to give you that. I'm putting black beluga lentils. These are actually called black caviar lentils that I got at Rancho Gordo, and I'll put a link to them. They have a lot of great heirloom beans, so I'll put the link in the description below. And I have 2 tablespoons of quinoa. Don't need a lot, just about 1/3 cup. And if you don't want to use black lentils and quinoa, you can use regular lentils. You could use soy curls or soy granules, TVP, bulgur wheat. There are a number of things you can add. So if you use something else, or if you have any other suggestions, please put it in the description box below. I'd love to hear from you. And let's see. Oh, here. I've got some soup stock. This is my homemade, but you can obviously just use store-bought vegetable stock. And it's just nice to have a little bit more than you think you're going to need. The recipe, as I do it, only calls for about 3/4 cup, but I always like to have a little bit more on hand, just in case. I'll add moisture as needed rather than adding too much and then boiling it away. Spices, bay leaves, red pepper, crushed red pepper, chili powder, of course, oregano, and cumin. In addition, I'll be adding fire roasted corn. You can get this at either Trader Joe's or Whole Foods, and that'll be half a cup. And a cup of frozen chopped kale, and I'm putting kale in today, but you can use spinach or chard or any greens that that you have on hand or are in the mood for. And since you don't need to watch me chop vegetables, I will get all this stuff chopped up and then we'll move on to the cooking. Okay, we've got everything ready to go now, and as you can see, I like to have everything cut before I start putting things in the pan. It just makes it a little bit easier and less unnerving. So I have my peppers and onions in one tray here because I'll put those in first. And I've got my frozen vegetables all laid out, opened the can of tomatoes, and I have the mushrooms and garlic in another tray over here, and that's because I'll put those in close to last. So I'm getting the pan hot. No oil. Don't need it. And I'm putting in the onions and the peppers. What's happening as the vegetables heat up, the natural moisture is being extracted, and that's keeping them from sticking. Just stir now and then. So it's only been a few minutes, and you can see already the onions are starting to soften a bit, and there's no sticking at all. Then cooking a few more minutes, and these vegetables are nice and soft now. Still no sticking. Now I'm going to put some of the spices in now, and it will start to stick a little bit once the spices go in. So I'm going to put in a good tablespoon of chili powder. And I don't know, put some oregano in, don't have to be a lot. There's already oregano in the chili powder. I'm just adding a little extra, and the same with the cumin. Hot pepper is entirely optional. We like a kind of a spicy chili, so kind of liberal with them, but that's a totally individual thing. So I'm going to add 2 bay leaves. These are fairly small. I might add more. I'm going to add 3 because they're small. Now, it is starting to stick a little bit because the spices have gone in. And when it starts to stick, I am just going to add a tablespoon of that vegetable broth. If you don't have vegetable broth, water will work just fine. This is cooking nicely. Add the spinach. Or sorry, this is kale. I intended to add spinach, but I couldn't find it, so I put kale in instead. And the corn. I still don't really have any sticking. I'll let that cook for another few minutes. Just another tablespoon of vegetable broth. And then now I'm putting in the mushrooms and the garlic. It's the last of the vegetables to go in. Just want to get this heated up and give all of these flavors a chance to get acquainted with each other. I think these have cooked together. These vegetables have cooked together enough. So I'm going to add my tomatoes. So now I'm adding my vegetable broth. And my beluga lentils. And the quinoa. And I'm turning the heat up just briefly. Stir this in good. I want to bring this to a boil now. Get all of this cooked. And I'm going to add my beans. My pinto bean, or my kidney beans, and my black beans. And do I need any more moisture? I might need a little more moisture than that. That's why I always like to have more broth on hand than I think I'm going to need. It's not soupy exactly, but the quinoa and the lentils are going to be absorbing some moisture, so. I already know this is going to need some more hot pepper. So I'm going to add, what I'm doing is I'm putting in some hot peppers that I dehydrated from the summer, from the garden, and putting those into okay. This is going to come to a boil. I'm putting a lid on it and I'm letting it cook for 20 minutes. And then I'll test it to make sure that the lentils are done. This has been cooking for about 25 minutes. And we've got a nice little soupier maybe than I wanted, but it's a nice pot of chili. So what I'm going to do to finish this off is I have a, this is not the right cup. I have a quarter glass measuring cup. I'm putting this in glass because it's very hot. So I'm just going to take this and spoon some out, about half of it. And that looks like about half. It's a little less. It's about 3 cups. It's half. Okay, now I'm going to put that aside and let it cool. So normally we like to have a cruciferous vegetable at every meal, and we had broccoli for lunch. Normally I'd put some frozen broccoli in here, but I have some shaved Brussels sprouts that I got, so we're going to have that. And this will be about 2 cups. We eat a lot of cruciferous vegetables and absolutely don't scrimp on them. They're low in calorie, they're good for you, and you can eat a lot. So that's about 2 cups. And now I'm just going to stir this in, and I'm going to give it another 10 minutes or so to cook. If it were frozen broccoli, it wouldn't be 10 minutes. It would probably be more like 2. In the meantime, while I'm waiting for this to come back to a boil, which it has already, and I'm setting the timer for 10 minutes. I've peeled, we have a fairly large sweet potato that I've peeled, and we're having the chili over sweet potatoes tonight. I cut it in half so each of us will get half of sweet potato. And that will get heated up in the microwave. So the chili's cooked. Vegetables are fully cooked in the chili, and the sweet potatoes have been heated up. And it's time to spoon it out. The nice thing with this chili is you can have a generous portion. This is why I don't believe in portion control. Bon appetit! Thank you for watching my video. If you plan to try this chili, please let me know in the comments. And while you're at it, please hit like and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more videos like this. Thank you very much.